Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Oh, let me pull up something a little more. Uh, uh, hope y'all doing all right. Today we're going to be working on the pet system. Just opening up my project. Pulling everything at the last minute here, but we should be all right. Today we're going to be working on the pet raising and breeding and taming system. Just prototyping. You know, I only tend to stream for a couple hours, but we're going to try to get a basic prototype running of the loop that you can expect to see in the demo, and then maybe talk about some things that we can expect in the future in the full game. Let me just get everything set up here and ready to go. Okay, so I don't have anything prepared yet. I have a plan for what we're going to do, but we're just going to jump right into it. We need to talk a little bit about what we're going to do, the ideas that I have. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty in-depth system. We're going to have like pet attributes. Like the player has attributes, as you notice, if when you create a character, you have like your strength, your wisdom, your charm, and stuff like that. Pets will have those too. In fact, every NPC, enemy, and everything has those. And what I want to do is to be able to breed those. So, like, say you can find an egg. Excuse me. You can find an egg. And you would hatch it, and you would get a monster from it, or a little critter from it. And that would become your pet. And that critter would have like randomized stats. And then over time, you could breed these together to get desirable traits and stats and stuff like that. Whew. So that's what we're going to do. I have this over here. We're going to jump right in real quick. I haven't touched these for a while because I made a short on the pet system earlier last year, and so I haven't touched this in a long time, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on. A lot of it was mock-up stuff for the demo, no, for the short. Let's see what we got. So I think where I had it here, we just have these because I had hard-coded them to move around and everything. So what I'm thinking, and we have to do this in an interesting way because it's not like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley where you start out with this stuff, especially Harvest Moon. And I'll talk a little bit more about Harvest Moon in a little bit. It's not like where you start out with a barn and you get one free cow and that cow, is ready to go. It's more like you opt into it if you choose to. So what I'm thinking is, if you play the demo, you'll go through, you'll do the intro bit, and you'll end up here. You won't have anything. These won't be here. You'll have your empty house up here. And so we need to go from there to letting the player discover the pet system and introducing them to it in such a way that they can get going right from the start. And we're going to be taking a little bit of inspiration from Harvest Moon Wonderful Life. I haven't played it in a while, so it's not going to be entirely accurate. But I played it when I was younger. Please add a local co-op. It would be so peak. We may do local co-op in the future. It may not be too far into the future. I'll look into it. But I played Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life when I was younger, and it had a really neat system. In that, the animal handling was a little more realistic. In that, you couldn't just buy a cow, and then that cow would produce milk forever, infinitely. You had a cow, you had to get that cow pregnant, and then that cow would produce milk. Some of the milk would go to its calf, and some of the milk you could sell. And so I'm thinking something a little more along the lines of that, where you get some kind of pet. We're not going to do cows per se, because this is not a farming simulator. I'm thinking more along the lines of Legend of Mana or Pokemon, kind of, not like catching Pokemon, but like having pets. And the idea in the Legend of Mana, what they would do is you would go into a dungeon, you'd find it. They had special rooms where you could find eggs. You could take those eggs, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I played this as well. You could take those eggs, bring them back, and hatch them, I think. And we're also looking at one of my favorite games from a long time ago, which was Azure Dreams. And that one had a very simple mechanic in that you would go into this roguelike dungeon, and throughout it you would find eggs, you would bring them back and hatch them. That's what we're going to be kind of doing here. So I'm thinking you'll go, when you go to this dungeon here, you'll find some eggs just scattered about. Like, not scattered about. I might, for the demo, I may hard code them just to make sure you get one, make sure I can plan it out and everything. But I'm thinking in the dungeons you'll find them, like, well, maybe there'll be like a monster nest or something. You can find an egg. You can take that, bring it back, and then you will have, you can hatch it, and then you'll be able to have a pet that can follow you around. And these pets will have different traits. So, like, imagine a pet that, because there's going to be, this is an RPG, and there's going to be skill checks, and so you could have an intimidation check. Imagine a pet that would raise your intimidation checks or whatever. It's that kind of stuff. A pet that could dig around for junk. Like, maybe you find, like we have the mouse holes. Maybe a pet could run in there, dig it out, and you get some treasure. That kind of stuff is what we're going to be looking at. And that'll be breedable traits that you can pass on to your pets. Hey, so good to see you still working on this project. Thank you. It's been a long journey, but we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Yeah, okay. So, we need to find a way to onboard the player in a way. And what I'm thinking, can you pet the dog? You cannot pet the dog currently, Scooter, but you will be eventually. It won't be hard to do, just a little pet thing, and he'll get excited. You'll be able to milk him, too. So, I don't have it here because it was a mock-up, but I made a milking animation in the shorts that was quite enjoyable. And the Borker has an animation where they seem to quite enjoy it. Let's see if I can find it. Hide a bunch of this stuff. Here. Should be here. Anyway, we have a milked animation. That's not it. So apparently the sprites might have gotten mixed up at some point. Anyhow, because like I said, I ain't touched this in a while, so we're just sort of in fact, he looks quite depressed. That is in fact not the only. I can pull up the sprite. That is in fact not the milk sprite. Let's see what we're working with here. I'm not seeing it actually. So there it is. Is that one right there? I think. So yeah, we have an ASC here. So if we can pop this bad boy open. No. So I got rid of it somewhere. Anyhow, yeah, that's what we're going to be working on. So what I'm thinking is maybe an NPC could be Teddy. Maybe Teddy has he's doing chickens, but what I want is an NPC that you can get a critter from, a pet from, and that pet is already ready to go. It's pregnant, producing milk and everything, so you can start producing milk for your cheese. Now, we can't. There are cows in the game. To maybe do a cow critter at some point, but the thing about this is the Darrington has all the cows, and the pathway to Darrington has been blocked, and so there's a cow milk shortage in the area, which is affects like the prices here and stuff like that. So yeah, and I have implemented. I have here. If we look at, if I can remember which one it is. If we look here, not here. Here we have. These are confusing names. I'm supposed to rename them because they're pretty bad. Here, so we have property data here. We're gonna be doing. This is gonna be a coding stream mostly. I don't know that we'll do much drawing. We'll probably do some UI work, try to figure this stuff out. But we have here property data, and I'm going to confuse these for a while until I fix the name. It's going to be a little bit of a hassle. But we have pets. We're probably going to raise this to probably about 6. And so you can have 6 pets on the property maximum. We might introduce some buildings that would allow you to store more pets. You'll be able to buy property in the full game that will allow you to have more stuff over there. You can build in there. It'll contribute to like your status in the world and everything. And now we have critters set up here. And I'll have to look at all this. It's not been too long since I worked on this, so it shouldn't be too bad. that stores your critter's ID. And we'll probably do something similar for the pets. And they have, open up critter pet data. That has some stuff here. Yeah, we can get rid of that. And this is data for, like, if you go here and you catch yourself a frog, you can come and put the frog down. And as you leave and come back, the frog will stay there. And that is your pet frog. And eventually you're going to be able to, like, interact with it and name it and everything. And so that's what we have here, is data for the frog. We have a next ID variable. We're going to increment the IDs so that we can track, because we're storing this in one place, but we're saving the data for it, like the reference to the data, in different places. And so we have an ID to reference that. And this is like all the ones that get stored here. And that, yeah, I'm guessing we're storing all the critters in one area so we can access them all. I'm not sure why, but that's interesting. No, that's probably for saving reasons. What I'm probably doing here is saving them all, and then everything that references has that ID, which would be the critter and the property, if I remember correctly. We have the critter ID itself to identify the critter. This will be the name for when you can name it, and this will be owner ID, which is, in the game, it'll be player because it references the player. All right. And so we're going to do something similar like that for the pets themselves. So what we're going to do, we're going to skip. We want to go ahead and get into the pet system because you know, it's not really interesting to set up the NPC and stuff. So we're going to set up the pets themselves. And so what I think we're going to do is, for the time being, is probably we're going to get rid of this baby Borker. Nah, come on now. Here. And we're going to focus on this little guy. We have Borker here. Okay. Now these are found in the Mystic Woods. You'll be able to find, they don't all wear hats. The idea being that you'll be able to put accessories on the pets. And yeah. So what we're going to do, let me look at frogs real quick and see how we're doing this. So we have, this would be critter, excuse me. And so we should have here a critter data here. Let's see where we're using this. We're saving it. Like we do here, we save the ID and the species ID, which is for the, which is probably for setting the sprite, which is interesting. Set critter data. That's for deserialization. When you catch it, I think what happens is you can go and catch that frog again, and it'll keep its critter ID. Meaning, like, if you name it, and you want to move it, it should keep the data. If I did it right, I haven't checked it because it's not really fully implemented yet. We have the critter data here. This is when you set the critter data. It just says yes. That's fancy about that. Just refamiliarizing myself with this because we're going to do pretty much the same setup when we do pets themselves. Yeah. Okay. Now, if we look at the Borker here, let's see what it is. It is an enemy. Okay. I'm trying to think of how I want to structure this. I think everything extends from the enemy. So we have the shroom, which is you might be able to get little critters of these. They are the enemy. We have sprouts. They are enemy as well. And Gloomf, which is those runny things in the caves. You'll be able to get domesticated ones, which I think are their own thing. And they probably extend from enemy as well. Okay. And then we have, and I'm just trying to think about the hierarchy here. We have all these that implement from enemy. And I think if we go to something like Claire, she's going to implement from NPC, which goes from AI. And that's what enemy inherits. Goes from AI. Okay. What I think I'm going to do then, it has funny implications, excuse me. If I go critter data, we're going to make one. We're just going to duplicate this. We're going to call this pet data. What is that? Critter data. What was the yeah. What is this? We might have two of these. Give me a second. One of these might have become obsolete. Okay, it looks like this one's probably obsolete. Or, no, okay. We can get rid of this. This is for identifying the characters. We're going to go here. Duplicate this. Get rid of that. And this will be our class here. Alright, now we're just going to rename a few things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Make sure we're good to go. And so, what we're probably going to do here. Hold on, what is this? Oh, let me just. That should be all right. And so we're probably going to keep stats here. We're going to have to serialize. We might create a specific one for pets. Actually, we have a character data class here, and this holds a lot of information about the characters, such as their health, their mana, their attributes, their level, all that fun stuff. So we have character data. We should have a player data and probably an NPC data. And here, all right. So we're going to make another one here. This is going to be. Oh, that's going to be a terrible naming system. I already feel like closing it. We're going to call this pet stats. Yeah, I want to keep the convention here. Pet data. And it inherits character data. And we have to look here because this is going to get confusing really quickly. We have to figure another name for this, which is. Because what we're doing here is we have this one, and this is going to have like the attributes that we talked about earlier. Things like the traits that they might have, like the intimidation buff, treasure hunter, whatever. It's going to have. I suppose we could. Because what we're doing here is we have this, and it's just its own resource. We could have this extend from character data. Yeah. And then we just get rid of this because it becomes that. I am become character data. And then I don't see the problem with that. Okay, cool. That sounds fine. Oh, still here, still working, still. Yes, working. I'm a quiet lad, but I'm working hard. I work on the project about every day. All right. So we're going to do that. We're going to have. So that means we're going to need to do a few changes. We could do this, save data, because the parent class serializes. And then we just return that, and then we should be able to say super dot deserialize. I always have trouble with that one. Save data. Boom. Okay. Now we have all that. We have critter ID, critter name. Okay. We have, as part of character data, we already have a name variable. We might just use that. Now, character ID is different. It's going to be yeah, like it's the string name to do. We're probably not going to use that. We only use it for like NPCs, like Claire, the player, not an NPC, but you get the idea. Stuff like that. So, let me get rid of this. before we get confused. All right, so we have our ID, which is going to be incremental thing that we use for saving and referencing beyond deserialization. We're going to get rid of this. And I don't think the name saves in the character data because that's not what it's for. It's meant for yeah. So we are going to need to serialize it here, but we're going to call it character name. We can get rid of that. We don't need it. And we want to do that. I have these helper functions that help me serialize and deserialize stuff. So that should handle everything. Good. All right. So we already have that. Great. So if we go, oh, we need to do one more thing, which is to, hold on. Yeah, we have to go into game data, which is responsible for every little thing. Why not? Maybe something got screwed up. Oop. See if that fixes that. Yes, great. So here we're going to go pet data. No, we don't load resources here. I don't think there's anything to load. No, okay. So this is, like I said, this naming here is going to come and bite us in the rear end later. What we need, what this function does is it loads all the resources from the files, and it refreshes them. So if like you start a new game, then it creates new files. So you don't, hopefully, ideally, you don't get any crossover. It happens sometimes. But we have serialization here. And here, about the same place we're going to do the other ones. We have critters here. We're going to do about the same thing. So we just say, details, do we have? Yeah. And a little growth, but serialize object, wait, dictionary. You live stream what? Yes, I used to live stream all the time. And then I stopped the live streaming a long time ago because like, this was back when the original demo, live streaming, like, you know, had to do new and interesting things every day, but not every week, excuse me. Because I live stream every Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then like, it was getting really close to the demo, and I was having to like do interesting stuff, but the demo was getting to like, I needed to do boring, mundane stuff. And so I quit live streaming after that, and I never picked it back up. But we're starting it again now because the new demo is out. I can do anything I want. You know, I don't have to hit the demo interesting stuff. We can work on stuff well off into the future. We do have an upcoming Kickstarter, but you know, we'll get there when we get there. Well, that's why I missed your live streams. I usually work Tuesday mornings, yeah. But they are if you'll miss the live streams, but you can check they'll be on the channel. You can see them on the and the old ones. Okay, so I used to unlist them, and then I forget why. It was YouTube used to be really bad. Yes, because YouTube used to put the live streams in your video channels. Like you'd have your video page and you just have live streams. And so since I only upload like once, and back then I only uploaded like once every week or two, it'd be mostly live streams. It was really annoying. So what I would do is I would unlist them and then put them in a playlist. So you can find the old live streams. You probably don't care from such a long time ago, but I'm used to saying it. You can find the old live streams in the playlist. There's playlist channel, whatever. But these new ones I have unlisted. So you should be able to find it. If you ever miss one, you can come back, you know, later that evening and find it. Okay, so object dictionary. Yes, we have pets. This is just a string identifier for what we name it, and then we need to give it the. We should make this in a function inside of the thing itself, but it is what it is. We'll do that later. We're going to do here pet IDs or pets. next ID. We keep a reference to the next because we increment this value every time we create a new pet. So we're going to save this value, and we'll save it to save data. And then we need to save that. And this will be pets. Critter. No, pet, excuse me. Pet data. And I don't know if we probably didn't rename this. So let me do that right quick. Just take a look at these. Great. So critters, pets. Got it. Thank you. Oh, no, thank you. Great. Oh. Okay. Serialized property. Yeah, I just copied this without looking too hard. There we go. So it's ID, what you're saving, and the default value. Great. And then we have object dictionary, which is pets. Pets. Save data. What's your problem? Because I didn't save it, would be my guess. But if we come back, it should be great. All right. So that is going to handle, that's the serialization. So it should save, once we get everything up and running, we are storing all the pet data in an array or dictionary that has the integer ID and the pet data itself. And then this is going to save it whenever the game saves. And then we need to unsave it or deserialize it whenever we do it here. We're going to do it right next, because we should be doing the same thing here. We're just going to do it right next to it, since it's the same similar logic. Here. If we just, what is this one? Oh, that's probably a debugging thing I did. I don't feel like touching that right now. I'll look at that later. I think that's just a, I'll tag it and bag it later. So what we're going to do here then, we're just the same stuff we're doing here. Pet data, next ID, equals save utils. I probably just copy these actually. And then all we need to do is just get rid of this. Should be if everything is right, but we're going to do, we are going to rename these. Oh, pets. We need to rename this, if I remember correctly. And then we're just going to say next ID. We're going to do the same up here. Pets next ID. Oh, yeah, we already did that. Cool. Okay. And we're going to name this. Pet ID. Just some housekeeping stuff to get everything in order. Doing these for matching, but also just having these be different names is going to make it searching a lot more. Like if I do like a project-wide search, I could do like pet ID, and it should not pull up the same stuff. It should be very different stuff, like that. After I save it, whatever. You get the idea. All right. So we should be now saving and loading the pet data. That's good to go. So what we're going to do is we need to worry about creating this pet data. And so for now, oops, excuse me. We're going to put it on this guy. Okay. Now every character has base stats. He doesn't. Do porkers not have any? Okay, I guess I don't. If the character doesn't have base stats, they get a generic one. I should throw in a cert because I don't want that to generally happen. I don't think, but it's just so that there's no issues. The game doesn't crash. So it doesn't throw any fit, just in case for like the export release and everything. Okay, so we're going to create a pet data now. This will be used for debugging. I don't think we're ever going to actually need a folder for these, but I'm just going to go ahead and create one for now. Maybe there's like a unique pet or something and we want to actually, let me just have a pets folder where we get all the pet stuff in, and we'll just cram that in there. Excuse me. All right, so we'll have here, and we're going to create a new pet data, and we're just going to call it debug worker pet data. And so we have here. All right. Most of this stuff will, not most of this stuff, we're going to randomize some of this stuff. You're a bit quiet. Let me turn this up a little bit. Testing. That should be better. Let me know. Okay. All right. So we have here. This will be the, like I said, the integer thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to decrement that to -1. That's a little bit of gate. That's going to be -1, and we'll check to see if it's ever -1. We just assign it an automatic value. We'll go ahead and do this. This will be, you know, we're going to assign this whenever you get the pet, but we're just, for debug purposes, we're going to do that. And I forget what we called the pet in the short. We're going to call it Fluffy. And then we have our attributes here. We're going to randomize those. We have a stat distributor. We'll probably do that. And I don't think we need to worry about anything else. Okay, cool. So he should have those stats now. No, we won't give it to him. Okay. So we're just going to jump in here and make sure everything is functional. The main thing we're looking for just this one, just to make sure everything's saving. So we got him. What I'm going to do is go into the game data right quick. Put me a little check mark here. Here, be fine, I think. That's for serialization. Here. Okay. And we'll just like that. Excuse me. And then if we check our save data, we should see. Okay, wait, no. Okay, so we don't have next data because we didn't increment it. And then we don't have pets because we haven't added the pets to pets. Cool. Now, I'm thinking how I want to do this, because this is just for debugging. What's going to happen is you're going to talk to an NPC. The NPC is going to give you a pet to start off with. Or you're going to hatch an egg. We can go ahead and hatch the egg. So we're going to go, let's go here. That's in here. We're going to create a script called pet egg data. On inherit item data. And the purpose of this is going to be, like, it's going to be the item data that you find in the wild. This will be a tool script. And what this does is it does a lot of stuff. It has information about the item. It also has information for how to handle the item. And it's going to, in fact, we might actually extend map entity item. Map entity item is what's responsible for when you place something in the world. So if you place a furnace in the world, that furnace is in a map entity item. It tells the game, like, whenever you says, oh, I want to use this item, it says, okay, I'll put a furnace in your hand, or whatever. Floating hands in the menu art doesn't look that good in your opinion. Let's see. It's gonna skip. Oh yeah, with the stuff. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's funny. Okay. But I could see it. I'll play around with it and consider it, because we do have arms in the portraits. I just thought it would be amusing. Map entity item, and so we need to create the map entity item itself, which we should already have. Let me think. We have a couple ones. I think we want to be able to remove the item. So we have a harvest entity. I don't think it's a scene though. It is. Cool. Interesting. Okay. We should have another folder in here though for entities, and so I think where I'll put this pet. We already have an egg entity. Cool. Okay. We're going to use this. We're going to harvest entity, but we also need to change the dependency. What all will pets be able to do? So get another sip. A few things. Now, keep in mind, I have a philosophy of there's no bad ideas. I tend to create a bunch of ideas and then I cut and trim everything as I need to. But what I'm thinking is, one is going to, of course, a companion to be able to travel around with you. Some of them will be able to fight. Some of them will do utility things like digging for treasure or finding, maybe sniffing out certain herbal items like digging up mushrooms or something like that, or just other things like that. Then there's different purposes for why you might want to have a pet. Some of them produce milk, so like the Borker, the Gloomf, a lot of them will, and you can use that in your cheese as you do your cheese empire. And you'll have cows, mainly just for the milk. This is not so much of like a farming civilization. For item data, do you use that as a resource to add to an object entity, or does it form the actual item itself? There's two different things. I'll get to that in just a second. With the pet, so we'll have that. You'll be able to breed them, and they'll have different qualities to them. And so, like, that's a money-making route you could take. You could breed up like good qualities of pets and sell them. The milk, you could use the milk to make the cheese. I'm thinking it would be interesting to have maybe like a pageant system. And there's a really cool thing we'll get to in just a second. A pageant system, maybe. Like, this is like I am less interested in it, but it's still an idea that I have, to where like you could have like high charm pets, high agility pets that do like competitions or whatever. That's that's on the shelf for something to think about later. One thing I really like, and we have to be careful with this because there's like a thin line between Michael Vick and was it Dragon Quest? The Dragon Quest had this really cool thing to where you could go into the world, find these monsters that you could catch, and you could put them on a team of like 3 monsters, and then you could have them fight in like an arena thing. And if I remember correctly, you didn't really control the monsters. They would fight, but you would build up a team around like the purposes of that. So you'd have like a tank, you'd have other things doing different things. Dragon Quest is a great game. This is Cursed King, I think is the one I'm thinking of. I think it's the 7th one, 7th or 8th. And yeah, I love that system. It was absolutely great. And so what I'm thinking is something similar, to where like you could get a team of 3 pets, and they would do the arena thing, but instead of being like a turn-based thing, it would be more like you have one side, and then they run using the combat and the movement system that I have built up. They sort of fight, and you get like pets that do different things. You might have a pet that does some debuffing. You might have a pet that tanks, that kind of stuff. And you could go up ranks of like an arena type thing. I think that would be great. I'm thinking of calling it something like pet wrestling or something, or something cute like that. Yeah, I would think it would be great. So some kind of like something cute and that kind of thing. Yeah. As for item data, there's different things. So you have map entity right here, which is the data for the items in the world. So like that's the map entity, that's the map entity, that's the map entity. All the stuff that decorates the world. Item entity or item data is the abstract data of items itself. So like if I run this right quick, can you add the squirrel as a pet? The derp squirrel is not a pet. We could have a squirrel pet, but derp squirrel is a specific character in the game. He has like a whole thing that he does. He has like his own little, I don't know what you call it, like an arc, plot or whatever. But see, we have these items, and these are called item stacks. And the item stacks, they handle things like the amount of items. They have a reference to the item data. But each item stack is individual. Like you could have, if I split this off, these are two different item stacks that reference the same item data. And so the item data would have metadata as well. So like if you were to craft an item, it would tell you like who crafted it, like your hero, crafted by hero, and you'll find like different NPCs that crafted, and they'll have different traits to them and everything. And so that is metadata that gets stored onto the item. Yeah, and you have different metadata for different things. Like when you craft cheese, it gets metadata for the what materials went into it. Never thought I would play a game where you could gain relationship with the sun. Yeah. That was like that came about because signs are often used to tutorialize stuff, and I was like, it's kind of boring having to read through that stuff. And I thought it would be interesting if you could interact with the sign. You could ask it questions, that kind of thing. So that's where that came from. And then I had this sort of snowballed into this like creature that expands across the entire world. Like it has like a root system and like nerves and everything. And then yeah, it's great. There's a whole plot line with that too. Like if you're friendly with the sign, or if you start cutting down like a bunch of the signs, you have like a late game plot that happens from that. It's great. So back to here. Well, yeah, we're creating the egg entity. So what are we doing? We have the harvest entity. Harvest entity is it's responsible for allowing you to break something, because some entities can't be broken or whatever, so they don't have harvest entity. If you have a harvest entity, you'll get like a little pickaxe sign over above it or whatever, or like it checks for that kind of stuff and allows you to do it or not. So it's going to be an egg entity, because I'm thinking you'll be able to place it, but like say if you want to move it or anything like that, you'll want to be able to break it and everything. So have an egg entity. I stole this class from here. Okay, cool. This, like I said, this was used to mock up the thing in the video. We have a large one there too. It uses the same script, so it's just, and it has a lot of default stuff. Yeah, great, cool. We need to give it a name. Excuse me. Entity ID. We'll just call this pet egg 00, and that gets used as the for instancing and stuff. Okay. So what we want to do, and okay, so we have egg entity. We'll go back to our egg item. So the egg entity is going. If you see entity, it usually refers to something in the world. But if we go to egg item, I think I did that. No, because when I did. No, what did I did not apparently. No, I know I did now. Because I did it in here. Or did pet egg data. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's a bad name. That's a bad name. See, it would be egg item. Excuse me. Terrible. Alright, so we have this. This will be our So if we open this up, it has the map. Oh, we need to create a resource for it first. Which we're doing here in our items. I think we'll go ahead and create a folder for this. Just call it eggs. New resource. Yeah, egg item. No. Oh, I probably gotta give it a name here. There. There. We'll just call this debug egg item. Okay, and we have to give it the path here, which would be the egg entity. This is what it uses to instance it. We gotta fill out some data. No, we don't need that. We'll just go whoop, pet egg. We have a default texture. Nothing too crazy. The rest of it we can leave alone. I believe so. Okay. So now if we go here, oh, I need to do one thing real quick. Let me go back to reset. I need to give it markers to tell it where it is physically. Then we're going to relaunch. All right. We should be able to give ourselves the item and then place it. And what we're going to do after that is have it hatch into the pet. And it's going to spawn that worker. Yeah. Give item pet egg. So if we, well, that can't be good. Oh. Right, I need to change the dependable, excuse me. So, egg entity, dependencies, and we want this to do harvest item, which I think, yeah, here it is. We will reload that scene. No, close a bunch of this stuff. Egg entity. Oh, it's probably okay. Here, we need to make it interactable for one. There we go. We get that. Cool. Hopefully that should fix it. Great. All right, so we have that, and it's interactable. And so the idea being is that you'll be able to place it, and then if you interact with it, we won't be able to hatch it. Maybe we'll do a pop-up, it's like, do you want to hatch this egg? Yes or no. If you hit yes, then the egg will hatch, and out comes your pet. And that's what I'm thinking, at least for now. We can probably do some kind of incubation system later. Cool. So to do that, we're just going to extend a function. Probably in the inherited one here. There's a specific one. I have a few of them here. Let me just check. Okay. We'll go with this one then. I think that's the one I'll... Let me just see where it gets called. Yeah. Okay. So if we go back up here and there, and then if we do like a spawn, we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do a pop-up here eventually, but we're just going to spawn it for now. It'll spawn that worker. We are going to spawn, for debugging purposes, we're going to spawn a fully born worker. Here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in the interactor. I'm going to pass that to the child that gets instantiated. Okay. Let me Booker. I'm trying to think. I don't think I want to make a pet class. So what I'm probably going to do is, like, it'll have the pet data. And so what I'm probably going to do is it'll handle a lot of that stuff, like the interactable stuff inside of the pet data. because making a pet class from here get a little cumbersome. Oh, excuse me. Let me close a bunch of this stuff. Okay, so we'll spawn the baby, or spawn the debug thing. Set the worker. And so we're probably gonna have oh, okay. Like I said, here we're gonna have some function, some stuff here. I think here. Just trying to think about how to handle this exactly. So we're probably gonna have like a function set pet, and we'll have I guess we'll do pet data. I don't know how well that's going to function because I don't typically set the okay, we can get around that actually. What I would like to do then is before we add it, we're going to say set our worker set pet. And we're going to load that debug pet data. No? What did I call it? Ah, here. Rename that. Like that. And we'll set it here. This way, what we're going to do is, well, so what happens is we have a base stats property inside of character. We have a stat base, which is you give it to the entity, like if you're instantiating it, like here. He has that stat base, and what it does is whenever the character gets instantiated, it checks for that variable, and then makes a copy of it and sets that as his stats. And so with the character, with the pet here, if we say here, when we set pet, if we say stat base equals pet data, it should instantiate that data instead. Or duplicate it, excuse me. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add it before he gets instantiated. And let's see, let me check this right quick, see if we have everything. We should have here, excuse me. Should have everything here. Well, and we want to get the ID going. So let me see where I'm doing this. Okay. So okay, so what I have a function here to create the data itself. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one. Static function init pet data. I'm also going to change this. And we're going to pass it in data. Yeah. And it's going to do all this stuff here. like that. Excuse me. And then we'll just initialize it here. So the idea here, so this function you would call, this one here you would call whenever you're spawning a new pet or whatever. And then for this one, we're just going to call whenever we're doing debug stuff. So egg entity, we're going to say set pet, and we're going to do it here. So we're going to say pet data dot duplicate, and then we're going to say pet data dot init pet data stat base, like so. It should work. And so now when we create our pet, when we get here, it should have initialized data. Let me check it out right quick. Oops, excuse me. All right. Yeah. So if we, well, let me do this thing right quick. Come over here. I don't know, not full screen. These are batch scripts that get run at the start of the game. If you're in debug, I'm just going to go to get item pet egg. We're going to go to give us a couple of them just to be safe in case we ever want to do multiple things. But for now, boom. All right, so we have a Borker. He's in the scene. We have his stats. Just doing some sanity checks right quick. We have everything here. Owner, pet ID. And if we then go back to game data and serialize again, then we should have our pet data, pet next ID, and we have our serialized pet data. Beautiful. Okay, so we are up and running. I'm currently working on an item data structure architecture, but never done it before, trying to glean what I can. Here I have had many issues with cyclic dependencies. Yes, cyclic dependencies is annoying. Do you know where you're having those issues? A lot of times I run into it with export variables. That could be annoying. Godot has fixed a lot of the cyclic stuff, but not all of it. But check the things that I would be concerned about would be like your preload. Preloads tend to be annoying sometimes. I tend to wince a little every time I write preload, and that's one of the reasons you'll see here. And that's probably one of the fixes you could probably find is if I go back to that egg item we had. You'll notice here for the scene, I'm using a path. This is a string. Like I'm not actually using a packed scene here. And that's because you get a cyclic error dependency. I get a cyclic error here if I was to use a map entity there. So that's one way you can mitigate it is by using paths. It's annoying. I don't know that they update if you change them. You're basically introducing little landmines that can break stuff here and there. But, one thing I did notice with the egg here, we need to queue free our egg. We're going to destroy it. For here, we'll just queue free it. We'll probably do some particles or something. Benja, welcome to the stream, buddy. It's good to see you. Do I already have a destroy function? Excuse me. Destroy. Let me just check it right quick. Drop items. Destroyed state. Yeah, perfect. We'll use that. And so we'll destroy it here. Yeah. So let's just place it again and see. Oh, I want to, before we do that, I want to play the hatching animation here. Okay, we're gonna say play hatch animation. I'm gonna bring all these back in. And I think what I'm going to do, is I'm going to await, because what I want to do is I want to time this out. And so I want the animator to play. It's going to play a little quiver, a little quiver, a little quiver. And then I want to spawn the thing. And this is what I want the function to return. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is animation player dot animation finished. That should do it. I never trust these animation player functions here, or these signals here. They never seem to work as the way I want them to, but I think that's the right one I need to do. That's like it's a little funny. Animation finished. I think that's the one we want. And so we should await here, and then we should play, excuse me for slamming my mouse down. We should play that animation. And that should return just in time for us to, so if we await, play hatch animation, that should work. Wouldn't that happen when the first hatching no. I think it plays at the end of a queue. We're going to check though and see. I think that's the weird quirk that's always confusing, is I think what the function does is it plays after the queue is done. And then it breaks the egg. We don't want to break the egg though. We can probably destroy it instantly though. Yeah. Right. It's one of those weird things, man. It'll trip you up. I used to use it thinking it wouldn't do that, and I don't know how you would do it otherwise, but it just would work. I mean, I kind of get it, but we also want to make sure we can't interact with it as we're doing that. So we'll have that. Boop. Cool. It didn't look like it played the hatching animation, but it is what it is. Yeah, my guess is his reset position needs to be set. Like I said, I have not touched this in a while, but that's kind of funny. What we're going to do for now is we're going to disable the wandering. I think we should be able to say it by saying can wander false. Should fix that. But that's good enough. Like it's a little rough. It's not. I don't think it's animating properly, but it should fit our purposes. Such a gentleman, indeed. It won't start like that, but you'll be able to do customizations. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to randomize their stats. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to check see what stats he's got. We're going to, I'm just going to disable these for now because there's a long wait for hatching. It's fine for the player, but we're going to be doing this quite a few times, so we don't want to be waiting every single time. And remind me to make sure you can't interact with it twice, because that would be kind of curious what would happen. But I'm going to leave that, and then we're just going to do that, and we're going to check the Borker stats and see how they initialize. But it should be pretty simple here. It should be attributes. Yeah, so he starts with like a full 20. Pretty beefy dude. You wouldn't want to fight that baby Borker. He'd whoop your ass. So stat distribution. Because as a player, like you can at most you can start out with is 18. We'll do pets here, and then stat distribution. We're going to say debug pet stat distribution. All right, so we're going to figure out what we want to do with this. Now, what I'm thinking is they'll start out weak, and then the stats will grow over time. Now, with the player, and I'll have to check this with, let me check Skelly Fighter stats. So this is what, like if you've seen the Skelly Fighters, this is what they look like. They have 10 strength, 8 vitality, and like I said, this should factor into their attributes as well, like how much damage they deal, their health, stuff like that. And so that's what we're looking at. If we look at Sprout's, excuse me, yeah, that was right. Sprout stats, 8, 15, 12. I'm just trying to get an idea for that. Charm's really high. I must have done that been a little funny when I was doing that. I'm getting an idea for like the average values and what we want them to be. Okay, and so each critter or pet type is going to have. Let me show you how this works. So we have here stat distribution, and I don't know this. Yeah, okay. So this is done for the player. So when you start the game, you in the bottom right corner you'll have your stats, your strength, and stuff like that. And so I have these created for these different ones. And so for the cheesemonger, you'll have your max stat is always charm, because that's used for selling and buying and stuff like that. And I have override here to make sure that you always have, excuse me, you always have 12 dexterity, which is agility in the game. But it's dexterity behind the scenes, because I changed the name at some point. You always have at least 12. I did that because 12 is used to determine your damage with daggers and your dodging ability. And so if you lucked out, and I've seen a lot of people do this, like if you got bad luck, you would start with high charm, low dexterity, low strength, and whatever, and you'd just be like a piss poor combatant. And so people were sitting there swinging their swords like 20, 30 times before they'd kill anything. So you have a minimum of 12 dexterity, and then you have all your stuff here. This is a calculated value. It should be read-only, but it's not. And it's basically taking all these. These are weights. So you can ignore this one. But these are basically like how your stats get prioritized. And so, you have, on average, you should expect to have 12 wisdom, 12 dexterity, 10 vitality, 8 strength. But it gets distributed randomly. So you could have a high charm and a high strength, and then low everything else. So, it's looking like enemy stats is about, let me look at Gloomf right quick. Gloomf stats, yeah, those are higher considerably. You have higher strength, higher vitality, higher agility. And as you level up, I think your stats go up as well. Maybe. Maybe not. I have to look at that. We're not going to pay attention to right now. And then, what's the other? Yeah, he's a strong boy. He does a lot of damage. If we look at the Blight Beast, I don't know. Excuse me. Blight Beast stats, attributes. Yeah, I think I'm overriding his values. Yeah. So we're not going to consider him. Okay, just get any idea. So for the debug character, we're going to do this for the Borker. The Borker is very agile, not very wise, extremely charming, mid strength. We're going to say decent vitality. So about, okay. So that sounds good. So we're going to put him up at 16. Like I said, high vitality. And the reason, like I said, that I have these, this mean here is just to sort of give me an idea. Like 58 is the average for how I do these. I'm going to say 8 for that. 14 for that. Oh no, we want 8 for that because he's kind of a dum-dum. We'll go 11 here, 9 here. And that'll be the Borker stat distribution. We can actually rename this. Borker stat distribution. And so we have, when we create our stats here, we create our, and we add him, we should be able to say stats pet data equals Borker. We're getting this a little funny because of how we're handling this. We're going to say that, and then we should be able to run it through the stat distribution. I think it's a function we call. Give build weights, get stat distribution. Let me see where we're calling this. I think it's, yeah, okay, it might be in the class. Build here. Here. Role attributes. Here. Okay. So we have this. This is in the character build, like whenever you select the character stats. No, we have set attributes here. Let's get set there. Beautiful. That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to move this to the character class because we're going to be doing this a lot. Star the Gecko, welcome to the stream, buddy. It's good to see you. We're going to be moving this here. Where was that at? That was in character build. Let me do this. Bring this back. Because we're going to say player stats dot role attributes. Oh my god, it's been a while. Welcome to the stream. Finally managed to catch you streaming for once. I'm glad you made it. It's good to see familiar faces here. Let's see. So we're going to put role attributes there. We're going to get rid of that function that we have here. I just need to here. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to do this for now. No attributes. We're going to do this here. Max attributes, because the pet quality will determine the max attributes as well. Instead of having it hard-coded for the player like we do, we could say a poor quality pet would only have like 50 attributes or whatever. Yeah, I'm just going to say int here. What is the difference between character build and character data? Character build is the character data is the information on the character. So everything from health, mana, their name, you know, just their data. Character build is like a class. So fighter. I probably should have called it character class, but yeah, it is what it is. Fighter, you know, rogue, mage, all that fun stuff. So if we go to here, it's like the build, the name, the description, the icon in the UI, the starting equipment and items, the attributes, their starting talents, their gold, their starting renown, their stickers, all that fun stuff. Okay, basically the first thing you see on character creation. Role attributes here, and we called it from character build. When we initialize character, role attributes, max attributes points. We'll do that there. Great. And cool. So for the debugging purposes of the egg here, we can say we got the stats, stats.role attributes, and we have the stat distribution. We'll do it here. Const debug stat distribution preload Borker stat distribution, and we'll do that here. Character data. Wait. Oh, that's no longer necessary because we are the character data. We can just say here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We need to do it here, like so. Then we come back here, and And we'll give it 58 for now. We'll give it 52. Okay, and that'll roll the stats. So now let's check on our pet, see what we get. Oh. Put this away. All right, we got a Borker. And we can look at the stats here. If we look at attributes. We didn't get them. So I'm probably going to walk through and see why not. Unless, no. Okay. Let's walk through then and see what happened. I can't imagine why. Got our values. Wait. We set our attributes. Alright, that's weird. We'll try it again. Here. Oh, me, oh my. The stats are rolling, just for some reason not setting, by the looks of it. They have our values. Let's check the values again. Good strength, good vitality, look, dexterity for some reason. Oh, because it's max stat is strength. I'll have to remember that. Watching you on my TV because I'm having lunch. Nice. I'm about to, after streaming, make myself some lunch. Okay, let's just jump in here. Wait. Yeah. We have our values still. Attribute and values. Attribute. And we have our attribute. We set our attribute. Our value is 15. Attribute. Oh! Wow. Okay. I think the way I'm handling, first time here is actually, no, it is GD script. And welcome to the stream. We're going to do it again. I think I'm just looking at the wrong thing. I think I'm storing attributes in a weird way. And I'll try to figure out why in a second. Well, I try to explain why. Like I'm serializing it in a weird way. And so I think what I did is I had a base of 10, and then any modifications to that I would store in a separate variable on how much they modified. And the idea was that if I wanted to change the base later, then it would just change the amount that's modified or whatever. Sounds kind of stupid when I say it out loud though. So let's continue past that, and we'll look at our stats again. And we're looking for, yeah, this one. Okay, so it is this one that I looked at. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like the base is 20. Maybe? It's kind of weird. It's really weird. I don't like that one bit. So what I'm, so what I think it's doing is it's saying getting 20. Minus 5 would be 15. Minus 12 would be 8. Let me check. Do we still have the values? Nah, whatever. Anyhow, I think it's working. Okay. Oh, okay. But it is functional by the looks of it. Cool. I was getting worried there because I wasn't sure why it would have been broken. It's just done stupid. Okay, let me move it there. All right. So what are we going to do now? So now we have our pet, and the pet has attributes. The attributes should already determine things like the damage it does, and everything. So I think now we want to focus on the breeding aspect. We've got about 40 minutes before I want to start wrapping up. We should be able to do that in that amount of time. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to think about how we want to handle breeding. I don't know how we're going to do it in the real game or the full game. I think I want it to be set specifically, like you would basically instruct them. Like maybe you would get maybe an item. You could give them an item, and that would get them to breed. I don't know, like Minecraft. I'm thinking more like I think Final Fantasy did something like that. Where you give them the chocobos nuts or something. Maybe you use an item, like like an aphrodisiac. You could tap one with the item and then tap it again, and that would tell it to breed. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my debug here. Here, what first we'll do is when we create the pet. Now all this stuff is handling in the spawn. We're going to have to serialize a lot of this stuff. But what I'm going to do for now is say you should add the chicken knife from Final Fantasy. I haven't played Final Fantasy long enough to remember what that is. It sounds familiar. I'll have to look at that. God, I need to play Final Fantasy 7 again though. It was great. Okay. What I'm gonna do? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say Borker dot add to group pets. I'm gonna put that in this. I'm gonna put that in a constant somewhere. Persistent. I don't remember what that does, so we're gonna say false. Where do I want to put this constant though? An AI, I think we're doing some. Yeah. We'll do it here. We're gonna say const pet group. Come on now. Pets. There. So whenever we spawn it, we'll spawn it to AI character dot pets group. And what I'm going to do, I don't imagine there's going to be too much use for that in the full game. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my debug here, and I've got a special thing in here. And if I hide that, this is called for me. Anytime I push the X button. So what we're going to say is pets equals. I think we're in the tree. Excuse me. Get tree dot get nodes in group. AI character dot pets group. And then we can get the first two. I'm going to say if pets. Well, I want to say pets equals pets dot as a slice 0 2. I don't know if that's going to include 3 or not. It shouldn't matter because I'm only going to spawn 2 for now. And then we can say if pets dot size is less than 2, return. And then for here, we'll just say we're going to have a function here. Function mate with, and that's going to be a AI character. And for this, I think for now all we're going to do is we're going to create an egg item. So we'll say this is where the egg item come here. We should have here. Okay. What I want to do then. Okay. So we have. We're going to create a function called function set parents. Pet A, pet data, pet B, pet data. And so this is an, and we're going to need an item stack that we're going to pass it to. And what we're going to do is we're going to store the pet data, or the variables for the pet data, on the item. So we need to get the item stack, and it's going to be stored as metadata here. And so we should be able to say pet A ID equals. Do we have that? Where are we storing that variable? We're storing it here. Yes. We'll just do it automatically. We'll say we're going to create pet parent A ID like that. Okay, parent B ID parent B, and then we should be able to say item stack dot set item meta. Okay, parent A ID pet A dot pet ID. Same for the parent B. And there. And then we want to be able to get the parents. So function get parent A item stack. And we're going to, so what we're going to do is we're going to spawn this egg. It's going to stuff the parents into it, their data. And then when we hatch the egg, we're going to take parents, take their information, and create a new one, new baby. All right. And so for this, all this is parent ID int equals item stack dot get item meta. Okay, parent ID default value of -1, and if parent ID is less than 0, return null. Right, no, we've got to fix that thing up here. We're going to be returning pet data. Otherwise, we return pet data dot get creator data parent ID. We're going to do the same thing just for parent B. That should be fine. Okay. Okay. So we'll go back to our debug function here. We're going to say pets 0.mate, just for code completion purposes. We're going to say array AI character pets.assign this mate, just to make sure I'm on the right thing here, pets 1. Boom. All right, so what should happen, wait, that's not going to happen yet. We still got to do the logic for it. What should happen is if we place 2 eggs, hatch them, we should be able to hit the X key and call this function. And from here we have pet A, pet B. So we're going to say for egg item equals item stack. We're going to create a new item stack. Egg item preload egg item thinks that's correct. Egg item. And then from there, we should be able to say egg item dot set parents, which probably, wait, no, hold on. Egg item dot set parents. And this will be self and with, and give it egg item. Oh, it's pet data. Self dot stats with dot stats egg item. And then we can spawn that in the world. Now, I think I haven't done this in a while. I think it's item collectible dot spawn collectibles. Oh, this is my error. Global position. We're just going to spawn it on the whichever the ones gets called first. And that should be fine. You editing a constant? No. Oh, it's an item is collectible. Right. Of our item entity equals item collectible dot new item entity dot item with set item egg item. And then that's what goes here. Now the array is not typed, so I don't know, it might crash. You didn't know about assign? Yeah, assign's great. Check myself map entity item. Probably that preloading. Wait, what was that just editing? Debug. Yeah, maybe no, not here. Okay. Here. I'm gonna rename this item stack. It's probably preloading, like the cyclic stuff that we talked about earlier. So we're just gonna go item stack. We'll go for egg item and just load it. We'll have to rename it here. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm going to say egg item for completion. Then we'll try that. No, still no. Huh. What's going on here? Oh, I gotta love when this stuff happens. Okay. Let me, let me get rid of this. My singletons are weird sometimes. They don't like when I do stuff, and it's really annoying. Like, I can't do a lot of stuff in my singletons. They used to not be the case, and it's not the case. It's not here. And it's not the case in, I'm going to leave it out just for now anyhow. It's not in the case in the new project, but for some reason, I get these weird little errors here and there. Where am I at? Let me remove this. We're going to start stripping stuff down to see where that issue is, because it does not tell me what the issue is. It looks to be like that. It looks to be something here. I can't imagine what. Let me do a hard type here. Yeah, I love parser errors. They're the best. The absolute best. I don't know what this one would be, though. This one's weird. This one's really weird. Let me... I guess we'll go bit by bit. See what this does. I can't... Could be because I'm typing it. Yeah, it looks to be like that. That's weird. Okay. What if I just don't? Seems to be fine. Alright. I guess we don't do static typing there. Unfortunately. Let's go back in there. we're going to run this again. I still need to uncomment the stuff I did in the debugger, but we're going to make sure this runs first. Yep. And then we're going to go to the debugger and uncomment this to make sure it don't break anything. Because the debuggers, my debug code is also known to break some stuff sometimes. It can have the same errors. Seems to be fine though. Alright. Assuming I ain't broke anything, I should be able to place 2 eggs, press X, call this function. It'll create the item stack and then spawn the item on the first egg that I placed, which will now be a pet. And then that pet, if it has, that egg will have the data for the parents. So, place 2 eggs, hatch the first one, hatch the second one. Then if I press X, stack is stack's not null. Data stack. Data stack's not null. The sprite is null. The sprite. Oh. But I always. Okay. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I should be able to say if not node is ready, is node ready? Await ready. Pretty sure that's how I usually do that though. Let me check right quick. If I go to map entity and drop items, items equals get items, we say non-collectible thing to instantiate an item entity set item. That's weird. I've never had that problem before. Okay. Well, try it again. Godot style guide. You should static type Godot. Yes. I assume, I don't know if that's a joke or not. All right. 2 eggs. Bloop, bloop. Press X. We are on the... That's so weird. Why are you giving me errors now? I do this all the time. Maybe I'm doing it wrong? This is a response. Pick up the late timer. Oh! I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Okay. It's not item collectible.new. It's preload item collectible. The reason it worked on the map entity is because I already have a preloaded scene for it that I just call like that. It'll get you every time. Alright, that should work. Hopefully. Guarantee it won't. Alright, try it again. Place an egg, place an egg. Hatch, hatch, boop. And I did not expect that, but that is what it is. So now we should have the pet egg here. This is the old one. This should have the new stuff. And then that's probably, oh, yeah, that's some hard-coded stuff I can get rid of. That was the stuff that happened before. All right. I use the X key for my debug a lot, so sometimes pressing X key does weird stuff. All right. We're probably broken. Nope, we're good. I mean, it won't guarantee it won't break another time, but if we place this egg now, egg entity here, And then what I'm going to do is, wait. Yeah. It should, when we place this egg entity, it should have the item stack that was used to place it. And so when we interact with it, we should be able to have the item stack here. And if we check the item's metadata, it should have parent A and parent B. And so now we can take that, get parent A, get parent B, mash up their stats, and then roll a new kid. All right. On a roll. Doing pretty good. So, we have this here. We're rolling attributes, default attributes here. We don't want to roll them like that if we have two. What I'm thinking, we have to figure out how we want to do this exactly. What I'm thinking is we'll go stat by stat. I don't know how much we'll get to. We have about 20 minutes or so, I can give or take, before I end the stream. We want to go stat by stat. Look at what they have. I'm thinking we do a gradient of between the stats. So we go I don't know about that. We have a couple choices here. We could do a gradient. We could be like, it's somewhere in between these stats with a mutation chance. That makes it either worse, better, or worse. Or we could weight it towards one or the other. Like we go, it's more like this parent. And so we push it towards that direction. I think that we want to do a method that feels good for breeding. That gives, it's not going to be too predictable, but gives like, you don't want it to feel random, like completely random. You want it to feel like I bred this critter and this critter. I want it to be similar to at least one of those critters in aspects. If we do the gradient, it kind of feels like it could just be random. Then again, you probably wouldn't be doing a high, like if you wanted a high strength pet, you probably wouldn't be doing a high strength, breeding a high strength with a low strength. But then again, you could and hope for the best. But we could, so that's the idea. We either go, you get high strength or you get low strength, or we say you get high-ish strength based on the pet, and then like maybe a chance to get like the pure strength, and then a chance to mutate it. Recessive endowment gene. Yes, that's the. I don't know a lot about this stuff, but it's going to be like, I'm the type of person that I'll go through down a rabbit hole researching this stuff to inform my game development decisions, and so expect me to start just like digging into this stuff to get ideas for how to implement this while keeping it fun, but having a sort of pinch of realism to it. Carl Marrero, yes. Marrero and I are very, very close in this aspect. Like, Marrero is a moderator on our Discord, and he's been working for in variations. He's been wanting to make a pet game, and right now he's working on like a genetics-based pet game, to where like the critter will go out and eat and stuff like that. But I've also done like I've made a few times economic simulations of like plant growing and pet like critters going to eating it, and then there's critters breeding, and then the offspring come in from that. So we're like we're very like I've been fascinated watching his stuff here lately, because it's very much in line with the stuff that I enjoy. But yes, that's kind of what we're doing here, is like genetics. Okay. So successfully have that running. That's great. So what we want to look at is we want to say we're going to instance our thing. We're going to set our pet data, so get our stats here, and then we want to say If we don't have parents, we're going to randomize it. This will be from like an egg you find in the wild or an egg you purchase from the store or whatever. If we have no parents, we want to roll our attributes. If not, we want to do them genetically. And we're going to handle that in the pet data class. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say function. Could we do it here? Could we have like a we have a create pet data. We could just pass it an item. Like that. We initialize the pet data. And then we say var egg item pet egg item equals item stack dot get item data. If item stack is valid stack, else null. If egg item is not equal to null, then we can say var parent a equals egg item dot get parent a item stack. Same for B. And then we can say if parent A equals null or parent B equals null, then we roll our random stats, which will be done here. And we're going to create our stats. Pet data is the stats. So we can just say, we're going to rename this to be in line with the conventions that I typically use. And then we want this here. You can make something like 3 tags for creatures, like strong. That's we're going to be doing that. That gives them boost for stats and pick up some of the parents. Yeah, we're going to be doing that, and it's going to have different different ones, like the ones that you mentioned: strong, fast, sneaky, intimidating, which would give you like bonuses to your intimidation roll. So I can imagine if you had like a pet snake draped across your shoulder or something like that. Treasure hunter, it would dig for like stuff in the ground, that kind of stuff. And yeah, and I was thinking 3 too. I was thinking because the 3 is a good number. We are on the same page. I like it. I like it. All right, where was I? Here was I. Stat roll, we roll our stat distribution. Otherwise, oh, you love that? Yes, I think it's gonna be great. Otherwise, we do our get parent stats. We're probably gonna create a function here. Static function breed parents. Parent A, pet data. Pet data. Parent B. Pet data. And from here, I think it's a dictionary. Dictionary character data dot attribute. Here, let me come up here. Oh, attributes, values. Get stat distribution. Here. Peg data is a different kind of game. Shh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice that. Let's see. Yar. Okay. Alright, string name, get that. So, okay. So what we want to do is we're going to have stats. No, not stats. Attributes. This is going to be a dictionary. String name. Int. Turn attributes. And so we'll say var up. You know, we probably don't want to do that. We probably want to just say void. And what we're going to do is we're going to say offspring. Pet data. And then we'll pass in the thing here, and then we'll get our attributes, and we're not going to return anything. All right, and so we can say breed parents, parent A, parent B, stats. No, not var. And that should handle everything. And then we return the stats. Great. So then we get our stats here. Okay. So for now, we're just going to randomize the parent stats. We're going to go through each stat, pick a random one, and then we're going to give it a chance to mutate. Plus minus 1. Hello, it appears breeding is in order. It is breeding is in order. Welcome, Marrero, to the stream. Good to see you, buddy. You arrived at the last minute. Let's see. So we have our attributes here. I've been doing this kind of messy. Let me open up here. I think we have a string. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I'm doing here. I don't know if I have an array or dictionary of the stats. Let me check. Here. Great. We're going to use that. Jeez. All right. So, for attribute in, what was it? Character data. Data.attribute map. Yeah. And this will give us the string name for the attribute. And so we're going to say var value int equals parent A dot get attribute. Now this is going to take an integer. Okay. So it'd just be not attribute map. It'd be attribute. No. Here, that enum there. And this will be, we're just going to call this attribute ID X. Yeah, just to be clear, attribute, we don't want modifiers for this because we want to get the base values. And this will give it, yeah, this will give us like without any of the hats. Because imagine you breed with a hat on and you get a bonus strength, and then that gets transferred to the pet, be easily exploitable. So we got our value. We're gonna say var parent equals parent A if rand f is less than 0.5, else parent B. And then we should just be able to say parent get that attribute offspring dot set attribute attribute IDX value. Boom. Attribute dot values. No. We're just wanting the ID. Is it? You might be right. I'm not sure. I don't. We'll find out. You might be right, Skull. You're probably right, actually. And this will probably crash. Let's see it and find out. But we set our offspring, and that should take care of that. Okay. So let's run through here, each at a time. What should happen is I got my two. Let me change this right quick to 2. Save it before it loads. We should get 2 eggs. And we'll place 1 down. It'll trigger that code. Well, no, it'll only trigger when we hatch it. So we're going to place 2 eggs down. We're going to hatch 1. It should trigger the code. At which point, I got an error. Oh, you got to be kidding me. What was the error issue last time? This thing. Surely it's not found. Let me get rid of this. Ugh. Breeding on for that. That don't sound fun. We should. It would be more like breeding with socks on. Why? What is your problem here? God dang it! I hate this. I don't know what the issue would be. Let me get rid of this. This is really annoying. I genuinely don't know why it's happening. Add weight that favors the highest stat, just like hit game eugenics. Yeah, we're just figuring out debugging for now. We're just getting, like, I'm doing, like, the way I tend to function, work with code is I get the base implementation done, get it roughed out and everything, and then we start whittling it down into what we want. Last time it was static typing peg item. Yeah, it's something to do in here. Here, maybe. Yeah. What would? Not that. It might be that. Yeah. It's that same damn thing, isn't it? I gotta figure out what's up with that, because that's really annoying. Make it work, then make it better. Exactly. Oh, I really don't like. What is this? Parent A. It's pet data, isn't it? Yes. Wait, shouldn't you? You should have the oh, because we got rid of the fucking type. Hola, Iniki. Welcome to the stream. Well, no, he's been here. He commented when he first came on. Okay. I gotta figure out what's up with that. Really annoying. Okay, so let me put my comment, my debug breaker in there. Place 2 eggs. Will trigger this? No. Okay, because we're probably not calling this function. Yeah, we're calling this function. Okay. Cool. That's fine. Where do we do this at? It would be an egg entity when we interact with it. We say set pet. Is that what we're doing? Yeah. Pet data. Okay. So we don't want to do. That's a really bad way to do that. I should have done that externally. We're going to do this. Bad coding. I'm a bad boy. No, let's not do that. We're going to say var stats here equals that dot do. I know. We can just create it. Wait, right? Yeah. We can just say equals pet data dot create pet data. Yeah, we just say add a stack. That should work. I thought pets would be a post-demo feature, but I'm in for it. No. I want to get them in. It might still take a while because it is a really heavy feature. But I would like to get it in so that you could start making milk from the pets. Slickbeard, thank you. All right. So, place the eggs. Pet. Oh, did we? I bet we removed our debug. Yeah. That's fine. We're going to say, we'll put it back. If we interact with this, we should break that. And it should go through. It says it doesn't have any parents. And so it should just roll random attributes. Great. And then, if we step back, press X, nothing happened. Why? Oh, did I? Because I removed the. No, I didn't. Let's see what's up here. Ah, because I removed that for the thingy. All right. There we go. We get that pet egg. Make sure my debug is still in place. And then, if we place this guy, hatch that egg, we should have our item stack. Our metadata should have our pets. It does not, probably because the IDs were not initialized properly. Maybe? Doesn't make sense. Let me check. It won't be called Borkers. We'll find one. Stats. And this should be pet data. Maybe, maybe not. Yes, because yes, pet ID is not getting set here. Gotta figure out why. I really should use breakpoints more instead of printing everything. Yeah, breakpoints is great when you want to step through the code. Printing is great if you want to do a lot of stuff like really quickly, and breakpoints is just tedious. But there's a trick you can do. I like to do, like say if you've got like a function that's processing, like a process function that's constantly running. One of the things I like to do is say, and I want to get a snapshot. I'll do something like if input.is key pressed key X. And then this is important. You want to do like a remove me key. And then you can debug that, press your X key. It'll stop it there, and then make sure you remove that afterwards. It's a good way to step through the code if you want to do it at specific points. All right. So for some, we changed how this was working. I'm surprised this didn't work though. We're gonna try this again and see what happens. No. All right. Place this guy. We got our breakpoint there. Wait, am I duplicating it? Nah, I don't know. Let me check here. So we got our, I don't know why. I know why. We're gonna stop it again though, because it's got a recompilable for where I had that breakpoint in. It should work here. Hopefully. Let me get my debug points in. Where do we want them at? Pet data. Yeah. We want it here, because we already know these work. And this works. And if we step back, push X, place our new egg, boom. Then we breed our parents. And if we look here, and this might be where we get the crash. Skull, pay attention. Be on the lookout. Attribute IDX. It's strength. Yeah, we're about to get the crash. It'll be right there. Good call, skull values. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put a pass here. And no, we'll step through, make sure everything's functional here. I'm going to press pass here so I can check it on it at the end. And we should have functioning genetics, like very simple, very basic genetics. Okay. Doop, breed, place the egg, doop. All right, and if we step through here, we have our value. Let's take a look. We have our parent. Parent will be pet A. And we have our value, which is 15. Good. Okay. Parent B, they're getting the whatever the second one is. I think it's vitality of parent B. They're getting the agility of parent B. They're getting the wisdom of parent A and the charm of parent B. Very parent B heavy, or about just a little over half. And then we have our offspring. And if we go to attributes, the attributes is weird if you didn't see it last time. It's based off 20 and then minus. So we got a -5, which if I remember correctly is correct. And then we got all that there. And if we look at that, let me just take a screenshot of this. If we look at this versus parent A, assuming they got different attributes, we'll have to make sure because it was kind of suspicious that it had it last time. And we got these two from parent A. And parent B. We got the other 3. Perfect. Nicely done. All right. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So that is the very basics of the breeding. Though we have to, we got to do the core start of that and getting them to actually do the thing, how we want to figure all that out. But that'll be for another time. I might work on it on the Discord. Sometimes we do streaming if we on the Discord. It's been a while, but I'd be happy to do that again. But I'm going to hop off for now. It's a good 2 hours. Good 2 productive hours. Got a lot of work done, I think. Thank y'all for dropping by the stream. And I hope y'all have a good day.